It is Wednesday morning, September the 3rd, 8:02 in the morning. Apologize for being a couple of minutes late. Was working on some graphic stuff and lost track of time. But here we are, rise and shine. This is Coffee Talk. We get together 7 days a week, chat about what's going on in the world of weather. And this morning, we are watching kind of two big ish stories, in addition to, of course, our normal run of the mill shower and thunderstorm opportunities. First off, high risk of rip currents continues if your plans take you to the beach. And we're also tracking the tropics. May have something that wants to get going the next couple of days. And of course, we'll get you all the hits, runs, and errors. Make sure you know exactly what's going on in that department at least. But first, let's look outside and just kind of get an idea. There are some clouds that we're dealing with this morning. This is a live look from the Kennedy Space Center, looking through the Turn Basin there, off toward the launch complexes. And yeah, there are clouds with us. So, to our first warning, live Doppler radar we go, and big surprise, there are some showers. Now, the good news is the vast majority of the rain is offshore. Bad news is there is one lone downpour that's working right through the Canaveral National Seashore, kind of fading as it works into the Kennedy Space Center. But there's still a little bit of rain that we're watching. So, something to deal with this morning. Temperatures, fantastic. Marion County, y'all okay this morning? 69 degrees? Good gravy, that's lovely. 71 in the villages. What a difference from neighborhood to neighborhood. 73 in Leesburg, 75 degrees in Orlando, 78 degrees in Daytona Beach. So, yes, a dramatic change. I mean, just look at Daytona Beach or Palm Coast versus Ocala. Big, big, big change there. So, looking great this morning, especially up in Marion County. That looks awesome. Joseph says, I wish Deltona had 69 degrees, right? I mean, it feels nice, but that is like, mwah, chef's kiss. So, anyway, where do we go from here? Well, let's look at the forecast today. We do have opportunities for showers, little by little by little. 85, 11 o'clock, 87 by 1 p.m., 90 degrees our 3 o'clock temperature. And yes, there's that 30% chance of rain. Kathy Dyer on YouTube says, the mornings are getting nice. That they are. We're starting to see those moments. Tiffany says on Facebook, oh, it's comfortable here in Ocala this morning. Yeah, I would say so. These temperatures are great. Now, we all get to about 90 or so this afternoon, depending on where you are. Uh, Ocala, for example, even if you start with readings in the 60s, you still hit 90 later on. 90 degrees in Orlando, 86 degrees Daytona Beach, 87 degrees in Titusville. So, yeah, we're kind of rebounding and swapping, getting back there. A couple of things, though. First off, let's look at the breeze this morning, okay? I mean, it looks nice. It feels nice. Do want to point out the winds currently are kind of light, but out of the north. 3, 5, 7, about 12 miles an hour in New Smyrna Beach. But it's that north direction that's helping to make things feel a little more comfortable there in Ocala. Now, that said, looking to the forecast later today, that breeze is going to help to bring a few showers around. It's a subtly drier air mass, but nevertheless, here's our futurecast model, and I'll bring it full screen. Doing a pretty good job with those showers off the shoreline, right? 10, 11, 12 o'clock. Watching that East Coast sea breeze generating a few showers. Nothing wild, but 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock. There will be some spotty showers with us. Just keep that in mind. 6, 7, kind of fading on out. So it's really not a bad forecast. And looking ahead beyond this, okay? Looking ahead at our 7-day forecast just for situational awareness, and then of course we can dive in deeper. We've got that 30% chance of rain for today, 40% covered showers, even a few thunder showers Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then into next week things are looking a bit wetter. By the way, if you've got plans to head over to the beaches, yes, another day with a high risk of rip currents. So keep that in mind. As a matter of fact, we do have that high risk, particularly from about North Brevard all the way up through the First Coast. Surf running 2 to 4 feet, that's not too bad. It's just those rips, okay? And because we're kind of getting into a bigger tide type setup, in addition to rip currents, there's also coastal flood advisories posted through Friday morning because the tide cycles are going to get even higher, which means high tides could run into some issues, we'll say. All right. So Flagler County, St. Johns County, and it's not just the beach. Notice it's also along the St. Johns River. Okay. We get into these, you call them king tides or whatever you want to call them. You could be dealing with some flooding. Now, there's not a ton of people who live along the St. Johns up there, but we still want to make sure you know about it. Along the beaches, though, there's plenty of people that live in Flagler, St. Johns counties, and points to the north. So do want to make sure that you're all aware, okay? Just so that we're all aware. All right? Does that sound good? Questions, comments, concerns about anything? Anything at all? Questions, we got you covered. Questions, comments, concerns. All right? I want to make sure you're feeling good. How we doing this morning? We doing all right? Matt says, goodbye, slow Gulf low. Hopefully we can cross your name off the 2025 list of potential problems. You know, that next iteration of it, like right into October when we're kind of blending into the new pattern, we'll have to watch. But yes, hopefully we won't have to deal with much looking ahead, right? Yeah, that's just me. All right. Real quick this morning, did it go off? Did the Falcon 9 go off? It was supposed to go off just a couple of minutes ago. I don't know if it did or not, but ideally, you know. Oh, Roberto Bonini, thank you, buddy. Just your friendship, that's all. Justin Sheck, good morning, buddy. Justin Schick, excuse me, Schick, not an I, not an E, except after C. All right, questions about anything? Let's see here. It's Wednesday, of course. You know me. I'm going to be talking about college football. UCF got another home game coming up. North Carolina A&T. We'll see how this one goes. Hopefully, this is not anything close. Hopefully, we can just clear this one out. A couple of showers around for it. Keep that in mind. All right. We've got you covered if you're a Gator fan, okay? USF and the Florida Gators. This actually could be a fun game to watch. And honestly, if I could have both of these teams lose, I'd have both of these teams lose. But that's just me. Uh, Showers, even a few thunder showers around for it. All right. Otherwise, we're looking pretty okay. Don't judge me. I'm a putz. I'm always going to be a putz. And then last but certainly not least, up at Doak Campbell, East Texas A&M versus the Florida State Seminoles. Another game with showers and thunder showers. Another game where you're going to need to have the poncho. I was at the game this week. Definitely was poncho weather. Definitely going to have that again. So that's kind of where we're at. All right, for college football. It's Wednesday, and I know everybody's working for the weekend, so we do need to at least go over that. Now, speaking of the weekend as a whole does include those rising rain chances. Remember, we're like 40% today. We'll be getting into that 30-40% range again for late week. I do think, though, that again, like we said on the 7-day forecast, rain chances do start to rise a little bit getting into next week. But this weekend, not looking too bad. Just some of those opportunities for showers and storms dialing up. All right. So, questions, comments, concerns about our local forecast before we move on, because I think that the tropics are definitely going to be more of a focal point for us to discuss this morning. But I want to make sure we're all good. Debbie says, my poor daughter, she has to deal with another gator. Yeah, I am. Yeah. 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 Oh, well. Frank says, go Gators, but I was happy for USF last week. Hey, I just love college football. And honestly, I'm going to poke the bear and I'm going to poke the gate. It is what it is. I was raised in a house that was all about the Gators, as Frank Burris will know. So it's also kind of fun to be able to go against the grain there. Understand it's all for fun. That's all. It's all for fun. Tanya says, weekend sale in Dunellen. Miss Peggy broke her femur August 8th. Oh my goodness. Sorry to hear about that. That sounds like a mess. All right. So we're good. We know that we've got those rising rain chances a little bit Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And then, particularly on Monday, Tuesday of next week, we're going to bring in another storm system that's going to raise those rain chances. All right. Sound good? Okay, to the tropics we go then, shall we? There is one area of interest in the tropics. There it is, out there near the Cabo Verde Islands. Not expecting anything to get developed too quickly here, but in the longer range, there is a 70% likelihood that this is going to get going and become something tropical in nature. High likelihood, okay? We think that late this week or into the weekend, it forms global models. It's not an invest yet, which means we don't have the tropical models, but these are the global models. And essentially, what we're starting to see is two unique camps. The stronger camp recurves it because the stronger storms want to recurve. Then there's a weaker camp that takes it a little further west. Remember, weaker goes west, right? So looking at this, essentially you've got the two European models, Euro and Euro AI, that are a little weaker, whereas you've got the GFS, the Icon, and the Canadian GEM models that are taking it stronger, but recurving it earlier. So what does that mean? I mean, this thing is a ways out there. When you look at the timeline, kind of where it is in position, it's in that 10 to 12 day range, meaning that if it were to go directly to the United States, it would be about 10 to 12 days away. I'm not saying it's coming direct to the United States at all. As a matter of fact, just kind of looking at the prognostication off of the global deterministic models, it's probably going to recurve. But that's not set in stone. And so, because of that, it's important to note that, like, we have to watch this, right? We have to watch, we have to see what ends up playing out. So, at this point in time, let's just hang out. Let's just track it. Okay. And of course, you're looking at lines we drew plotting the deterministic models, but we can go a step further and actually look at those deterministic models, right? So this is the raw American GFS model. It's not looking at the lines. What you're looking at is the actual output. Okay. So let's do this. Let's change the view to the full basin view of the Atlantic. All right. Here we are. Slow Gulf low pulling away, sloppy low pressure starting to fade. But right there, that's Friday, 2 p.m. Friday. You've got something in the central Atlantic already having developed. All right. Now, what's interesting is look at this. Look off the east coast of Florida here. This is Saturday, Sunday. Look, but a tiny something off the coast of the Outer Banks there. That's something. Anyway, that's rolling away. Then you've got this thing. Watch how by Tuesday, Wednesday, it kind of starts to fall apart. And then it strengthens again. And then it recurves very near Bermuda. Oh, kind of blows up and just sits there. So that's interesting. Let's look at that again. Kind of makes a hard left and then. Oh, but that's because it's developing that other low kind of out. All right, interesting. So that's the current GFS. I just want to look at the one run prior. Need to make sure that it's not doing goofy stuff. Okay, yeah, that one's more recurving. And then it comes back, oh, you vaults, and then it like Fujiwara's around something. You see that? Boop, 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 boop. All right. GFS is doing GFS things again. Honestly, I'm happier when the GFS does goofy stuff because that's kind of where we are used to. All right, European there develops it. That's as far as the 6Z goes. Let's go to the 0Z. Weaker, and then it's got another low developing off the coast of the Northeast. Interesting. I mean, it's interesting. I'm not going to go any further than it's interesting. This is where deterministic models are not great. We have to look at the ensembles, and we will. All right, Euro AI kind of fades it out and then fires up another low. See, that's the thing. I think that it's going to end up being another low. It's not going to be this thing off the coast of New England. And then look at the Euro AI throwing another big old honker out there in the open Atlantic. All right, this is where the ensembles come into play. GFS ensemble. Mm-mm. All right, there's the Hornets. So through about Friday, September 12th, there's a pretty good agreement. Outside of it, look at how they spread. Most all of them recurve it, some don't. But most everything keeps it off the eastern seaboard and recurves it. This is always the power of the ensembles. This is why we use ensembles, is to really get an idea of what the of what the models are thinking. So, all right, so GFS definitely after the 12th kind of gets confused. European ensemble. That's as far as the 6Z goes. We got to go to the 0Z. Yeah. I mean, but it also shows the dynamics, right? Like, so through here, that's the 12th. The models are in tight agreement. Some of them start developing a low off of the coast of the northeastern United States. Some of them also develop a low off the Gulf there. And then that's where the dynamics get more and more confused. So that's why is after the before the 12th, things seemingly are pretty well behaved, but after the 12th, it's like, well, there's a lot of questions there. So that's why the ensembles get a little fakakta. So at this point in time, okay, there's the kind of global models. General consensus is a recurvature. Timing of it is a little questionable. The overall setup is a little questionable. So, definitely something that we're going to need to watch. Okay? Does that sound good? All right. So, we watch, we track. We've got plenty of time to do so. And of course, we're going to keep you up to date. Yeah. Sound good? All right, questions, comments, concerns. Jamie Lopez, but some Mets say Gabriel is out there, hyping it already. Listen, I'll give you the data. I'm not going to hype it. People that hype it, not my cup of tea at all. Oh, well. All right. No more Saharan dust. Can you show us pumpkin spice dust diagram? I give vault. All right. So that's where we're at, people. I'm going to get back to doing graphics. I got a ton of other stuff to do. Be the sunshine in someone else's day. I will see you all for coffee talk tomorrow morning. We're going to have a special guest tomorrow morning. I'm going to introduce you to somebody that you're going to see a lot of. So stay tuned for that. Sound good? All right. Listen, be the sunshine in someone else's day. Thank you for hanging out for coffee talk.